Just going to say this, Jerry is now warming herself by the oven because she's cold. She's already got her diva demands already. Jerry, go away! Right, we Brits, we love a proper Sunday lunch, but if your potatoes are a bit mushy and your Yorkshires are a bit soggy, don't worry, because King of the Roast, Brian Turner, is here now to share his culinary secrets. Brian, they said to me earlier in the week, Brian Turner's in, what do you want him to do? It's got to be a roast.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And
why is it so hard?
It's not. It's in here. You can do this.
Go on.
You can. It's very... First, we're going to roast chicken, OK? We're going to do something slightly differently with it, but only marginally different. Buy the best chicken that you can. Spend an extra quid or two. It's well worth it, OK?
Where do you get the chickens? From the supermarket or the butchers?
Good supermarkets. Go to the butchers. Go to the farm shops. They're all perfect. What I've got in here, I've got some spring onion and garlic that I've just melted a little bit here, and I'm going to put some tomato in there just because I want to make it slightly different, that's all. It is really a simple...
That's the last thing I think of with a Sunday roast.
And what I've done is just taken my finger, loosen the skin here. I'm just going to take some of this, not all of it, and push it under there. Oh. And if you can do that the day before, it's even better because
really
it just allows all the flavours to actually...
seep in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh. See, that bit would frighten me. You'd have to do that bit.
Yep, I'd do that.
Right.
I'll do that bit.
Now, that would go into the oven. Now, because it's going to take us an hour and a half to do that, I haven't actually got room to do it in the oven, to do Yorkshire puddings. Put it to one side.
Right.
I've got one cooked over here, which we'll bring on in just a second.
I'll get that in a minute.
Firstly, remember to wash your hands.
Always.
Brian, is an hour and a half about standard for a chicken, or does it vary on the size?
No, I think it needs to be less. Excuse me, young lady.
Look, she's in the way again. It's Jerry, look. Doing it again.
Very careful, I don't want to hurt you here. Now, I've got some beef dripping in here, and I've cooked some new potatoes. Just look at these potatoes. They're 3/4 cooked, and they've been drained off and just knocked about a bit, so they're nice. That'll help them to be crispy. And I like to put the flat side down first.
Right.
OK. Nice
and that
hot
dripping's
fat.
Hot.
That dripping is very hot. So just be careful, don't burn yourself.
Because that's what you do. Once you take the potatoes out,
excuse me,
we get like a colander and shake the potatoes in a colander to make them all fluffy.
Right. Yeah, is that a good tip, Brian, to shake the potatoes in a colander?
Shake the potatoes. It's an old wives' tale, but it works.
Yeah.
It does work.
So just do it, OK? Right, so let's just to recap. So we got that in the oven. It's going to take an hour and a half. I've got it outside ready because it's nice for it to rest once it comes out the oven, just so that the shaking of the molecules when it's cooking, it makes it more tender if you just let it sit for 20 minutes afterwards, OK?
Lovely.
Second point. Right, now, you did ask particularly for Yorkshire puddings.
This makes or breaks a Sunday roast.
These are the definitive. Let me make sure I've got that fully turned up. And it's a very simple method that I use. Came to me from my gran. I'm still doing it, gran. OK, take a cup, the cup of plain flour. It goes into the bowl like that.
Don't need to sieve it or anything?
No, just put it there. Use the same cup.
Same cup.
So that, and you'll see it was full, the same amount. These are just beaten eggs. Doesn't matter how many eggs it is, what size they are.
Because
by
you're still
volume,
just using a cup.
Exactly, the same amount. In it goes.
Right.
Then here I've got milk and very cold water. My dad used to use snow, he tells me, because he's a Yorkshire lad. It's cheaper than buying water in those days, he used to say. Same cup, but make sure it's very cold.
And is this half milk, half water?
Half milk, half water, right. Yes, yeah. Whether it's semi-skimmed or not, I'm not really sure.
No, we don't know. We can't confirm or deny that,
exactly, we cannot. So we give that a beat up round there. And what I want to do then is just let this sit for a while, so don't worry about the lumps, because they will drop out in half an hour. But
that's the one problem that I have, is because I just keep going until they're gone. I feel like it's
don't do that.
Afternoon.
My gran used to put a pinch of salt and some malt vinegar. Do not ask me why.
I won't ask you why.
Good, because I don't know the answer. But it works. And the trick, of course, for you is if you really need to do it in half an hour's time, you want to use it, put it through a sieve. Then there'll be no lumps in it at all. It just makes common sense. So we've got it here, ready to go, OK? So, the trick now, this is where it's important, it's got to be red hot. So I've got the moulds in here, and hopefully you'll hear them. When this goes in, it'll go tss. So be very careful and as fast as you can. Just
I can hear it.
Good man, that's what I like to hear.
So is there oil in there, did you say, Brian? Or
yeah, it's dripping, is that? Because dripping will give it the flavour.
And what would you say, like a tablespoon in each?
Yeah, perhaps even less than that, just less than a tablespoon. And I normally put these on a tray so that if it overloads, it doesn't pour into the oven, it pours into the tray.
Because the problem I have is when they lift a little bit and then they sort of go like patties, don't they? And they
You'll
just
sink.
sink in on themselves.
Right, so just quickly, hot as you can for about 10 or 15 minutes. If you can see through the door, you can tell. Don't panic if they don't start to rise straight away. They will rise, then turn it down just a wee bit to about 200 degrees so it just sits and sets. And they will come out, hopefully,
Look at this.
just like these.
No, they're Yorkshire
And
puddings,
now,
aren't they?
if you do, don't touch those.